Alright, what's going on, you guys? So in this video, I am playing Justin Burns. This is round 5 of VR Road to San Francisco. If you guys do not know Justin, he is a long-term VGC player. He's been playing for quite a long time, and a very strong player who just has a ton of incredible feats, incredible results, and very excited to play him. I think the last time I played Justin, he probably doesn't even remember because it's just been so long, but I played Justin in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon back in 2019 Ultra Series. So it's been a long time. I don't remember the last time I played Justin. I don't think I ever played him in Sword and Shield, and I do not think I ever played him in Scarlet and Violet. So we're playing the mirror, so honestly a pretty I don't want to say boring, but pretty straightforward set. I kind of expected him to do a similar line to me, which is Whimsicott Floette, because I feel like if we call each other to not lead Zard, I feel like Floette is always slightly better. Here he goes Garchomp Zard, and I'm okay with this because I immediately put his Garchomp on the back foot, and he's forced to probably play defensive with that slot on this turn. Justin's a pretty good player, so I feel like he's not going to just attack here with Garchomp. It wouldn't really make sense. I immediately put him on the back foot. And honestly, I don't even have to Tailwind this turn because, worst case is he goes Earthquake Weather Ball into my Floettes to get the KO. Or even Earthquake Heat Wave might even have a chance to KO. I think he always has to Weather Ball, but yeah, I don't think he ever goes for that play when I can just KO his Garchomp for free. I think he also needs to preserve his Garchomp because if I have mine in the back and I can KO his Whimsicott, then he would need another Pokemon to have some damage output into Garchomp. So here he actually swaps into Whimsicott. I wasn't really expecting this. I was actually expecting Incineroar or Basket Legion on his end, but he swaps into Whim, and I'm actually perfectly okay with this because being able to break the Sash and do a ton of damage to the opposing Tailwind user is actually very valuable. And I think I put him immediately on the back foot by causing him to switch out because now I preserve my Tailwind, I break his Sash, and I potentially can KO his Whims on this following turn. So yeah, I'm totally okay with this, how this turn 1 went. And yeah, fortunately Heat Wave does not do over half, so I'm actually really happy to see that. And now it's a pretty interesting position here. So there's a few options where I could obviously just double attack, but the problem with double attack is if he goes for Moonblast into Garchomp, I would die because of Fairy Aura. So here I go for a somewhat risky play and say, okay, I know I'm bulky, I know I'm gonna live Moonblast if I swap out. If I swap Floette into Basket Legion and go for Rock Slide, I think I'm in an incredible position. I could also swap it to my own Whimsicott, but yeah, I think this play was so I actually ended up missing Rock Slide, I think, on the Whimsicott into this next turn. If I were to hit both, I think the game is probably just over because I deny his Tailwind for the rest of the game. But yeah, so he goes for a Moonblast here, and fortunately he does not crit me or anything, and I am Citrus Berry, so the reason why this play was safe is because even if he goes for Weather Ball into Garchomp, I'm pretty sure I live at the HP I'm at because I'm very bulky. And fortunately, he does not go for a move like Heat Wave again, because if he were to have burned my Whimsicott here, that could be really bad. But yeah, goes for Weather Ball. I do miss Rock Slide here, like I mentioned, and honestly, I think I'm okay with this because at the worst case scenario, we just trade Tailwinds. We're forced to trade Tailwinds, and then we just see who's the faster Basket Legion. I know I'm very fast, and I'm pretty confident in just clicking Last Respects because I'm specifically fast to for these mirrors to outspeed opposing Archaludon, to potentially outspeed Adamant Swampert if they're not max speed in Tailwind. So yeah, there's a few reasons why I am pretty fast. And I hit 121 stat, I believe, so I just don't think his Basket Legion is outspeeding or is hitting close to that speed. He's probably around 115, 116, maybe 117 at most, but I've pretty much outsped most Basket Legion with this spread, so I was pretty confident I would outspeed. Here, we're forced to trade Tailwinds because if he just goes for an attack on Whimsicott and I hit both the Rock Slide, I would just automatically win the game because I would get Tailwind up. But yeah, he does go for the correct play and we do trade Tailwinds, so this is perfectly how it should have played out, and I do connect Rock Slide this time, so I can kind of breathe a sigh of relief of KOing his Whimsicott now because it's now a 2v3. I still have Whimsicott, and my Basket Legion most likely outspeeds his. He has already showed he has Garchomp, so I think I go Basque here because I don't actually remember what I do here. To be quite honest, I actually don't know who I bring in here. I think I can bring in either. I think if I go Floette, it wouldn't make sense because yeah, I think Basque makes the most sense just because I have the HP and because his Garchomp can never KO my Basque even with a crit. If I outspeed his Basque, it's like always a win. So Whimsicott being at 1 HP here is also pretty nice because I do have I can get a Moonblast off into his Garchomp, which could be really nice for me. And he has a few options here. He can go for the faster Basque play and go for Last Respects into my Basket Legion, or he can go for Rock Slide, or he can go for Aqua Jet into my Whimsicott. So he does Rock Slide, and I think he does Last Respects on this turn. I go for Double Protect because what this play gets me is I bait out a potential Protect on his Basket Legion, but he doesn't go for that, which is smart on his end. Because if he were to protect Basque and I don't protect the Whimsicott and he goes Rock Slide, then that could actually potentially lose the game. So I was just like trying to play safe as possible, and make sure I don't like throw the end game. Yes. I think like on this turn 2, he actually switches up his play and goes Aqua Jet because I think he wants to. I think there was a play I was expecting him to make here if he were to Aqua Jet. He actually didn't go for it, and I'll kind of explain why I was a little confused here. So he goes Aqua Jet, and I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Like this is the other play he can make, but he goes Stomping Tantrum here, and I'm a little confused because it's like the damage doesn't really matter. The damage doesn't matter in this end game, so I was a little confused why he went for Stomping Tantrum. I didn't really understand that. I think like if he were to get a flinch on my Basque, I would just lose the game. So yeah, it would be very very interesting if he were to have gotten a flinch. So here the game is not sealed because he can still go for Rock Slide flinches. He can Rock Slide flinch my Basket Legion. He can win the speed tie, Rock Slide flinch my Basket Legion, get the crit, and then flinch my Floette. So literally he gets the crit, and I'm like, there's no way this is happening right now, because if I were to just hit my Rock Slide on his Whimsicott, the game would be over, right? I would have Tailwind up. He wouldn't even be able to have Tailwind up for this end game, right? So I wouldn't even be in this position right now, but it is Rock Slide. It is what it is, and I do not flinch, so luckily I take game 1. So I get to breathe like a huge sigh of relief because like I feel like losing a game like that would be like somewhat tilting for anybody, but luckily I do not flinch and we are able to take game 1 in the mirror, and I'm very happy with that. So all right, going into game 2, typically there's 2 mindsets that you can have when you are up a game in a set. You can take the same approach, like safe approach that you feel is like your best line and just play and like do the same thing, or you can obviously make adjustments because you're up a game and you can maybe take a riskier approach knowing that they're going to make adjustments of their own. Here I kind of decide to play, I think like when you're playing a mirror specifically, I think like you're not inclined to always make adjustments, especially into big 6, because kind of the thought process here is like what would be like the worst case scenario into Floette Whimsicott lead, right? Like I was thinking like Zard and Cineroar can maybe be bad, but then I could just double protect. If he goes maybe Whimsicott plus Charizard, that could be kind of annoying, but even then like it's not terrible for me. I can just pivot out into Garchomp and try to chip down his whims so that I can stagger my Tailwind turns. So I feel like I have options with this lead the most, and then having my 2 physical pieces in the back for closing out the game and is really nice, like especially Basket Legion itself. So Guard Chomp doesn't have to close out the game necessarily. I think it's nice to have a switch into Heat Wave, right? Like, yeah, Guard Chomp serves like multiple purposes in the mirror, and I think like having a fire type resist is extremely nice, and then having a way to threaten his Guard Chomp is really nice. So yeah, there's like a lot of purposes for bringing Guard Chomp with the set. So here he goes Charizard Whimsicott. I wasn't fully expecting this lead. I think like I was expecting Ensign for some reason with Whimsicott in the back. But then he would have to drop one of Basket Legion or Garchomp if that were the case. So I wasn't fully sure if he would try to go Incineroar or not. And into the matchup, it is bringable. It's not terrible at all. Like, it's definitely a bringable Pokemon, but you have to play it a certain way. And I think like in the mirror, it can be kind of awkward to play Incineroar when the matchup's relatively offensive. So he makes a pretty good lead here, but I think I'm okay with this because the main way to win these mirrors is by preserving your like Tailwind user as best as possible. I went for Protect this turn, knowing very well he could Aqua the following turn, but I try to. So I'm predicting on this turn that he goes for Moonblast plus Heat Wave to try to pick off my Whimsicott and try to bait me into trying to KO his Whimsicott turn 1 as well. So. Yes, so I go Protect Attack, which I think is like a pretty safe play because the following turn I can just swap into Garchomp if I really want to save my Whimsicott. And he goes for Moonblast, but he goes for, and then I go for Dazzling Gleam. Put him in around the same range as the first game, but he goes for Weather Ball, and I was a little confused by this play because I'm like, if you go Moonblast Weather Ball, you can KO my Floette. But like, I feel like Moonblast Heat Wave made more sense because I'm still going to be in Weather Ball range the following turn with Floette. So I was a little confused why he went split damage here. I didn't really like understand what his game plan was, but I think like Weather Ball wasn't a terrible play because now he can just Heat Wave. So I guess in like the grand scheme of things, it does not change what the Charizard does the next turn. Like, he's always clicking Heat Wave, but now I'm like thinking, okay, I can swap here and Encore, right? So I could swap Floette, save Floette when I get Tailwind up, and Encore's Whimsicott into Moonblast. But this play would be bad if the Moonblast goes into Whimsicott and he goes Heat Wave. So I think this is just like a complete misplay on my end. I think like in both games, this was really the only true misplay I think I made. I think I wasn't like fully thinking through the turns because if he just stays in and he Moonblasts the Whimsicott, I would actually lose the game, or I would be in a really like awkward spot. So this game I do get some luck in my favor. I dodge Heat Wave. Obviously Heat Wave can miss, and that was pretty lucky on my end to dodge. Now I'm in a really good spot because I can just Rock Slide and Tailwind, and there's really no drawback to this play. I can also Rock Slide Moonblast, but I feel like either play is fine. I think because my Garchomp outspeeds, I don't know if I outspeed his Zard or not, I can just go Tailwind and there's really no drawback. So yeah. So here I'm considering going for Moonblast, but I think like it doesn't really make the most sense. I think like I'm pretty sure Tailwind's just always better, or Tailwind's always like the safest out, just because I don't know his Charizard speed. So yeah. The Zard swap was relatively obvious because like obviously Tailwind Rock Slide would just get the KO, but there's really no reason to make a read when you're up, right? Like there's no reason for me to make like a read on what the Zard is swapping into when I'm in a pretty commanding position, and I feel like I'm up a lot in this set already, or in this game already. So he goes Last Respects to Basque, and I was slightly confused by this. I didn't really understand what the purpose of that was. I guess he was just trying to. I don't know. I guess like that was his best play since Sun is up, and he doesn't KO with Wave Crash anyway. So I guess like he didn't want to take Recoil as along with like Life Orb damage. So it does make sense. Like his Bass kind of sits right now. I'm in a really good spot because his Sun's actually backfiring on is completely backfiring on him while Bass is on the field. So yeah. I go Moonblast into this turn and I go Rock Slide. I think like I could have easily doubled the Garchomp, but the reason why I didn't was because he literally lives on 1 HP. So I think this was like a roll. If Moonblast does like any more damage, if I got like a mid to low roll, but I end up flinching anyway, so that was pretty fortunate. But yeah, like even as you could see, like Last Respects without a KO doesn't even two-hit KO my Whimsicott, which is like pretty cool. Because now I can safely say like he can't go for and he can't go for his neutral damaging move into my Whimsicott and get the KO. Yeah. And I think now here, like, even though he hasn't lost a Mon yet, I think, like, I just win because he's taken too much damage. His Whimsicott's already taken damage, and everything's pretty much chipped. He has Zard in the back, which gets outsped by Floette, and he can't touch my Garchomp. So, yeah. Here, I think, like, his play is, like, relatively simple. Like, he doesn't go for, like, he just protects Garchomp, which makes sense. He's trying to preserve Pokemon at this point. Like, play numbers, right? Just give himself an out, potentially. But what makes his turn awkward is that the following turn, he can just, he needs a double on Garchomp to be able to do anything with it in the rest of the game. So I think, like, the game is just sealed at this point. Like, I think, like, I'm just, like, I've been in a commanding spot since, like, the second turn of the game. I felt like, when he missed Heat Wave, I think, like, that was really unfortunate because then I'm in Aqua Jet range, and then the game plays out quite differently. So I think, like, me dodging Heat Wave was very, very lucky in this set. So these sets are very volatile because if you miss a single move that's pretty crucial and you need it to hit, like, it really can change the pace of the game. I don't think I lose at all if he hits Heat Wave. I think, like, the game is just a lot more closer and it's more of a balanced out game if he were to hit. So yeah, hopefully that kind of covers, like, the thought process there. I don't think, like, Heat Wave would give him game by any means. It would just put him in, like, it would just keep the game going pretty steadily rather than me immediately being, like, in a very commanding position off of that miss. So yeah, that was, like, very, very fortunate for me. So yeah, here I'm just in a really, I'm in a guaranteed win. I can just Tailwind Rock Slide. He's forced to Tailwind here. He has no other play. Even if he were to Encore my Whimsicott into Moonblast, I would just be able to KO his win with Rock Slide. So he's forced to Tailwind and go for, like, Heat Wave to try to fish for a burn on my Garchomp. But yeah, it's at this point it's just GG. So. So he does KO my Whims, of course, does not get a burn, which is really nice, and fortunately I do connect both with Rock Slide, and his Charizard does live, but at this point it just doesn't matter. He's in Aqua Jet range, he's in range of anything from Floette, so yeah, like, honestly, like, just very happy with being able to pick up this set, and honestly, like, the mirror can go either way, right? Who plays it better, who gets, like, any sort of luck, but I got really lucky. I think, like, game one, I just think I played better, but I got unlucky, but still won. And then game two, I did get very lucky dodging the Heat Wave. So yeah, GG's Justin. I like I said, he's just such a strong player, and he ended up actually making top 16 in this tournament. So he did make phase 2, and I did not. So yeah, he's just a very strong player, and it was very fun to play him. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. I think this was, like, a pretty just an okay set because the mirror is the mirror, but hope you guys enjoy this video.